Yo, what's up, everybody? Today I decided to do a little weekly reading blog. About kind of what I've been reading lately or what I picked up and so forth. So let's start with the first book. I picked this up recently. Grim Fairy Tales Wonderland. This is the omnibus. Quite a chunky book, as you can see here. This covers the first six trade paperbacks, being volume 1 to 3, and then there's Tales of Wonderland, volume 1 to 3. Obviously, right now we're not gonna be covering all six trades. It's quite a chunky book that would run forever, right? So we're just gonna dig into the first issue, talk about a little bit what I thought about it, then we'll talk about some other books I've been reading, right? All right, so this is the cover, J. Scott Campbell cover right there. Writers Joel Brusha, Ralph Tedesco, and Raven Gregory. Look at this, falling apart already. That's fine. I'm gonna have that fixed later. Here it tells you the creators and the content right here. See, it says covers issues 1 to 3, being Beyond Wonderland, Escape from Wonderland, and Return to Wonderland. This is pretty sick right here. Now, what I like here shows you that I like the way the table of content is here. It's volume 1. This is what would be in the first trade, would be in the second trade, third trade, etc. Right? So 6 trades. It's done in a nice, convenient way, so you know where you leave off on the book and where you want to start and so forth, right? So I just read through the first issue really quick to just get a feel of it. So let's talk about the first issue a little bit. Starts off right here. You see Alice looking at her photo right there. This is back when she was in Wonderland as a kid. Now she's grown up. You see this picture over here where she's now with her new family as an adult. She has a daughter and a son. Look at here the artwork, what it does here. She's in the shower. It's a typical trope in horror books. So this, you've seen your slasher movies, you know kind of what to expect. And you notice more and more blood's coming out, right? Out of the tub. So now she wakes up over here in the hospital. She was in some type of coma or cardiac arrest. Something's going down, and this is just the epilogue. I like the way it starts. So immediately we know there's something going on with Alice. There's some shit cracking. So anyways, it seems like she tried to suicide herself. Now here's the father and the kids. They're like, why would she do this? We thought we were a happy family. So it starts with a bang, right? You immediately ask the question like, what's going on? All right, so here, I wish this would have had the covers, because Grim Fairy Tales, if it's known for one thing, it's known for the covers. They have like 10 variant covers to every issue, right? And some of them are very cheesecake, but a lot of them are really cool. So if we don't get the covers, we get this. That's fine. At least we get something telling you it's issue 1, issue 2, etc. Here's the mom with her issues, obviously. And here's the daughter. She's telling the boyfriend right here, you know, she's sneaking into the boyfriend sneaking into her room, and here she's getting all sexy for him. You know, it wouldn't be a horror slasher movie if we didn't have teens having sex, right? So they gotta be getting it on, and this very much has the vibe of your Freddy Krueger, your Jason movies, and so forth. It's gonna have that vibe, so you know what to expect. If you like those movies, you know what's gonna be in the comic. And then so the daughter's kind of like a little bit of a hood rat, and then we get to the next page. Here's the dad cheating on the mom with his dominatrix. And the dominatrix is telling him, you're a bad man, you know, doing this to your sick wife and this and that. And he's like, yes, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. So this family isn't as perfect as they let you to believe in the epilogue, where we thought, oh yeah, they're like the Brady Bunch, right? Now we're getting to the nitty gritty. They're you know, they all got their issues and their flaws. He's feeling you know, deprived because his wife is like sick already. So he's not leaving her physically. He's there standing by her side, but emotionally he's, you know, he's already somewhere else, and she's somewhere else as well already, because with her mental issues she's having at the moment. So yeah, here's the next page. Shows this right here. This one looks pretty cool, but there's no color to it. Okay, so here are the kids. The daughter, Callie, and her boyfriend. They're smoking some pot. You see some shrooms right here because that's what Alice in Wonderland's all about, right? So they start tripping out. You see them right here tripping out. Now you see here the mom, she's looking at the husband while he's asleep. And the rabbit, I mean, the rabbit is getting to it right here. He's telling you, like in the narration, he's telling her, don't do it, don't do it. I know what you're thinking. So she's like going psycho, thinking of killing him. So she walks away from the room. Next page, same thing with the sun. These panels are if you're reading it digitally and you're going by guide view, panel by panel, this is done real good. It looks real nice when you read it that way. So here you see her, asleep, the daughter, Callie. And when she wakes up, this is where shit starts getting trippy and psychedelic, right? Because now we're getting into the Alice in Wonderland feel. They're knocking at the door. She's walking towards the door. When she opens that door, look what she has. She has the uniform or dress, if you will, that her mom wore back in the original Alice in Wonderland. So look here when you change the page. Bam! That's what she finds on the other side of the door. Look at this shit. Everybody's fucking mutilated. Look at the ear there for dinner. Looks yummy. So now the brother's right here. Now he's the Mad Hatter. He's grabbing the sister, and what does he tell her here? Hush now, mother. Can't you see we're having a conversation? And he tells the sister, don't, Carol Ann. And then she says, but of course, dear brother. That's a very sinister panel right there. So yeah, things go off the rails, and now she wakes up. She wakes up, and that was just a dream, but it's a hint at where we're going now, right? She's starting to fade away into this into the Wonderland. So yeah, this was oh yeah, so here it ends. She goes back home. She wakes up, goes to school, comes back home. She's talking to the mom, and the mom saying she lost the rabbit. So she's looking for the rabbit. She goes, I'll look for it for you. And she says the rabbit went back. He went back to Wonderland. So we're already hitting at Wonderland. And when she finds the rabbit, it's in the basement. She's walking down right here. You see the rabbit here in the basement, and it's look at the rabbit. It has all kinds of scars and stuff. Very creepy, ugly looking rabbit. So it's the basement scene, the teenagers sneaking boys into the room. A lot of tropes from your hack and slash movies. But yeah, it's everything you'd expect. It's everything you're coming in looking for, right? Now, when she goes to look for the rabbit in the basement, she falls. You see her falling much like in the original Wonderland. They fall through the panels, and she lands over here. That's where the first issue ends. Did it grab your attention? Did it make you want to read more? I thought it was a solid first issue. I thought it did everything the first issue is supposed to do. So it ends there. She gets up, and we're in Wonderland, right? So what does he say? Do you want to take the blue pill or the red pill? Yeah, that's the blue pill. You'll wake up like nothing happened. The red pill, you're fucked. That's from the Matrix. That's what we end. There's a million doors. She doesn't know which one to walk through. Solid first issue, man. Of course, I bought this whole omnibus, so I'm gonna read the whole thing. But if you were reading in single issues and you tried this first issue, I think it'll win you over. If you're going in knowing that it's gonna be like when you go to a Jason movie, you know what you're going to go watch, right? Same here. You're getting that same vibe. This would have fit perfectly as one of those type of movies. So yeah, guys, let's get to the next book now. All right, so that was a solid read. I was happy with it. So that just makes me more confident in that purchase, and I will be buying more of those because I believe it's enough to make like 3 of those big books, and I'm gonna have them made into hardcovers, especially since you saw how that one's falling apart already. So I'll be buying the trade paperbacks and just smashing them together. So that was my horror book. I try to switch it up somewhat. The next book is Batman. This is the dust jacket. It's called Child of Dreams. Kia Asamiya. Supposed to be a master manga writer. I know he wrote some X-Men. So I'm gonna check those out as well. Some manga X-Men, and it's been translated in English by Max Allen Collins. It says dope cover, kind of eerie. This is the back. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Shit is sick with it. It reminds me very much. What I get the feel right there is from Tim Burton's Batman. That eerie vibe, kind of scary, and that's what Batman's supposed to be for your average common criminal. Batman's supposed to be kind of scary, right? Um, Here's how it looks under the dust jacket. Look, it has this right here. I don't know if you can. Let me see. Can you see it there? So that looks pretty clean. I like the way these are made. Very elegant. It looks like a basic book, like a basic hardcover. Nothing fancy, no picture or anything, but they look nice, like your library books. I mean your library books, like your also your Bibles and stuff like that. I said the Bibles would have them gold pages on the sides. It's light because it's a manga book, so you know manga paper, it's stock paper. This was about 330 pages. Not bad. Not bad at all. $24 cover price. Did this come out like 10 years ago, though? I wish all manga was like this, man. I wish all manga was the same. This is the size of your typical Western comic book, right? Your regular floppy issues, your single issues, 10 inches tall and so forth. So the pages and so forth look huge. It looks huge compared to when you're reading a tankobon. They're so much smaller. And it reads good. The binding and everything is solid on this. Now, what is this about? I'm almost halfway through it. I'm not gonna flip all the art because it's I'm like halfway through right now. I just flipped through a few to remind myself. This guy, Kia Samia, and he's I could see why they say he's a master storyteller because the writing in this is solid, man, and he really captures Batman's vibe. I would say he writes Batman better than a lot of the DC writers. Um, I didn't know what to expect going into it. It had an eerie cover, but I was like, it's a manga, so manga can be completely different. You know, like sometimes they could write a character, but they completely do a new reinterpretation for a Eastern audience, right? But now this very much feels like a Western style writing, even down to the you flip regular from right to left, right? Like your regular comic books and mangas usually the other way around. So you read it regularly, and then even the artwork, the way the panels are laid out, is very much like your regular comic books, right? There's a lot of two-page spreads, a lot of action scenes. It has a like I said, it feels very much like if you don't read manga, you just read comics. You want to kind of ease into manga. This is a great book to pick up because it'll give you the with this you get the art style of a manga and the black and white, but then you still get a lot of Western vibes to it. So you kind of easing into it. It won't be so overbearing, right? So this one it starts off where there's this journalist. She comes from Japan. Turns out as a kid, she grew up in America, but she moved in high school to Japan. So when she was a kid, she visited Gotham once, and her parents were getting robbed, and Batman saved the day, right? So she was small, went to Japan, and never saw him again. She always remembered about him, this urban legend, right? Like this hero that like a myth almost. And she wanted to go to back to the United States now that she's a journalist to do a story on them. She wants to do a story on them because she wants to write a story, but in his favor, right? Like, because she thinks he's a good guy. She had a good experience as a kid when she met him, that he's very heroic, and we need more people like him. So she wants to write stories on him. And as she comes to Japan, all of a sudden, all kinds of crazy shit starts happening. Because we get like these first we start off with Two Face, right? And these all these Batman villains, they're acting outside of their norm, so they're on some type of drug. So that's where the plot thickens because you're like, this is not the way they act, and she's getting everything on film, getting all this shit down. Like, hey, see what Batman's doing this. He's saying this isn't the way they act. We got a bigger story. There's like more that meets the eye. And when she starts talking to Batman, she kind of lets him know that, hey, I met you as a little kid before. You know, I was young, and then he's like, when you must have met Batman when he was just a beginner, right? Like he's a different person now. Because she's not like defensive about it, but she was praising him. She wasn't critiquing him, right? So then when she meets Bruce Wayne, which is the same person, she tells this story about why she wants to do cover Batman because of what she experienced as a kid. And Bruce Wayne is like, oh, okay, like he saved so many people, he can't remember her, right? But he's infatuated by the story and he likes that she sees him as a good guy. So Bruce Wayne and Yuko, that's her name, is Yuko, this journalist. They're having a nice dinner, and he starts explaining to her, I had a similar experience as a child. They also mugged my parents. And he tells her, but my parents weren't so lucky. They got killed, right? And then I like what the artist did here, very subtle but very powerful panels where he just shows a panel of him clenching his fist. And he goes, there was no Batman back then. You see him angry, like, he's like, oh, if only someone like me existed back then, right? And then you see the next panel, she sees that he's clenching his fist, so she puts her hand over his fist, kind of calm him down, letting him know that she's sorry about that. And then he just starts thinking to himself, like, I am doing some good in the world. She could have been bitter and angry like me, but, I saved her parents, so she didn't go down that rabbit hole. And because Batman's a controversial figure, some people think he's doing good and he's a real hero, and some think he's an ass, right? Like he's just an asshole. Some see him as think of it this way: if you had a police officer just stops you, beats the fuck out of you, and then asks questions later, right? Later, that's Batman. He can see Two-Face Joker. He'll stop him, harass him, fuck with him, physically, do stuff to them, rough them up when they're not doing anything, just based on their criminal record, on their past, on their history. So say you got arrested a few times and now you're just minding your own business and cop just stops you and messes with you because of your past, right? Because he recognizes you. And that's who Batman is. That's who he is. So some people see that as like going too far, doing too much. So he's controversial. He's not Mr. Perfect. He's not Superman, right? And then he explains it. They do a good job explaining to you, like, I can't afford to be that way. I'm a regular human. If I act that way and don't think worst case scenario first, and I think, oh, maybe today's not like that. That's a dead Batman you're gonna have. That's a dead police officer. So he has to take initiative all the time and react this way for himself, right? Because he's always in dangerous situations. I like what they did here, where the first half of the story was in Gotham, and he's pursuing this mystery to Japan. It leads him back to Japan, so he goes back to Japan. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. I'm not even done with the book myself. As you can see, I'm like about halfway through it. So yeah, right now we went to Japan, so it seems like the second half of the book's gonna be in Japan. And the second half of the book is a lot more about Bruce Wayne than it is about Batman, because Batman typically doesn't operate in Japan, right? So he kind of is holding back on turning into Batman because he's like, oh, like if they know Batman's in Japan and Bruce Wayne's in Japan, right? So it's more about a Bruce Wayne story in the second half, and even more about Yuko and her family. That's kind of important. So in the second half of One Japan, we're telling a Batman story through the eyes of this journalist, which I like. It's a nice change of pace and nice to see how other people see him, not how we as the reader already know he's a good guy. So to see how other people see him that don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. Really highly enjoying it so far. It's this would be something I might put in my top 10 Batman reads. I haven't read every single Batman book, so there's a lot of Batman I haven't read, but from what I have read, this would be up there with Long Halloween for me. And Long Halloween is probably my favorite Batman story from the stuff I have read, right? So this will be probably right behind it so far. We'll see if they know if they stick the landing, because that's like the most important part is the endings, right? Like you wrap everything up nice and neat. So yeah, that's a good one so far. What else am I reading? Third book of what I'm reading right now. Just cracked it open, read the first issue, so we'll flip through the pages of the first issue. Is Captain Britain. There's the character Captain Britain. He's obviously from Britain, so the writers are from over there. So I try to read a few things from different. Like the manga was from a Japanese writer, Grim Fairy Tales American writer, and this one's a writer from Europe. So yeah, let's flip through some of these pages, see what I thought about this first issue. This is a volume 2, So we're not reading this from the beginning. There's an omnibus coming out later on this year, so I'll probably be I think I'm gonna be buying the omnibus for sure. Unless I just don't like this book, then I won't buy it. But I do want to read this from the beginning, see how it is. So this book I'll probably be giving it away in the channel. Probably be giving it away in the channel when we get to, I don't know, how does 200 subscribers sound? Go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section if you're interested in this. I'll put a raffle once we hit 200 subscribers. We'll do a we'll do a raffle. So since it's gonna be a few subscribers, 200 is not too many. Let's say we get 10, 15 people that enter the contest. That's your odds. The less people there, the odds are higher, right? So 10, 15 people, the odds are going pretty good that you win this book. Because yeah, like I said, I'm gonna upgrade it. So let's flip through a few of the pages and see what we thought about it.
All right, guys. My bad. The camera wasn't working too good. It kept getting like blurry. So I'm gonna finish it off with my cell phone. Hopefully, it's not too noticeable difference, and seems to be looking okay, pretty sharp with the cell phone. So I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, so look, the first page is in color, and then the majority of the book is in black and white. I wasn't expecting that at first. Now, one thing I noticed here on this book is it's in black and white, which I don't mind black and white art. I like a lot of it, but it has this extra like gray, checkered gray tones that almost look like digital. But this book's pretty old from like the late 70s, so I don't think it's digital. It just looks off to me though. As you get to the next issues, it's that gray is not there. In some issues it's not there, and in some it is. And I feel like I enjoyed a lot more the issues where it was just the pencils and inks, and you didn't have that gray murkiness there. Okay, so in the beginning, it looks like our main protagonist in trouble. Oh shit, it's over for Captain Britain. Not to worry, guys, that's just a robot. And so is this monster. So in London, there's this thing called the Locust Monsters, like a big myth, right? That people are chasing after, trying to catch a picture. Much like we got Bigfoot here, right? So these evildoers, they decided to make a mechanical version of it, right? Maybe their claim to fame. So they're training against this mechanical Captain Britain because they know that's who they will eventually face off with. Here you have these marine biologists. They're about to, go under the ocean, and we get a glimpse at our evildoer. Seems to be some type of alien. I mean, this guy's smart. I mean, just look at his brain. Look at the size of that thing. He must have a huge IQ. So here they are. They're getting in this pod. Almost seems like a little wannabe submarine. So they go into the ocean. Once they go into the ocean, they're in for a doozy. Look at this. The Loch Ness monster punctured a hole in there. Water's coming in there. They're done for. So Captain Britain jumps in the water, gets the tripod, gets the little submarine there, brings it out. Now look at when he brings it out here. What the people say? They say, "He did it. He saved them." Then it says, "He's a champ. I I match him up against any American superhero." Yeah, he's way cooler than those fake American characters. Okay, so clearly they're trying to let him know, hey, we got our own hero right over here for England and all that, right? So that was pretty cool and that was what they were aiming for. So once he saves these people, he jumps back in the ocean to fight off this Loch Ness monster. Once this panel's pretty cool right here, like he's fighting off the monster. Now while he's fighting him off, these other guys show up and they throw this net on him. So they capture him. So it looks like he's fucked, right? And here's the big alien. He turns out to be pretty tall. He's pretty big. So they get the big showdown. Okay, let's get to these other pages. What I like about this character, what they did with him is he gets captured. Like he doesn't always just win and easily dominate the fights. He struggles to come out with a W. So at the end of the day, he wins that battle. And it's funny here. They think it's this guy, the janitor. They go, you're the one that didn't. He jumps into the ocean to stop them from attacking him. The angry mob of just regular civilians. They go, yeah, it's you. They chase after him. He jumps into the ocean, and it wasn't even him. It was this alien down there that nobody saw. Right? Nobody got to see the alien. So it tells you how sometimes these angry mobs don't know one person just falsely accuses someone, and the rest of them just go on the hate train, right? So it's very much like a monster of the week type story. The next one is a werewolf. You know, it ain't London without the werewolf. We're hitting all the tropes. You know, the werewolves are out there from London and the Loch Ness monster. So it is kind of like catering towards its audience. So over there in England with the myths and stuff over there. This one was a good one. It gets interesting because you got this werewolf here. Look, this is badass. Here you don't have those gray, murky tones that were added on the other one. It's just black and white. It looks much better in my opinion. Now here in what I noticed on this book too is this must have been originally in an anthology or some type of magazine book because each story arc is like 10 pages. Usually traditionally a comic of this time is about 30 pages. So if it's 10 pages, I'm thinking it was maybe some type of magazine that had three stories of 10 pages each. So I read up to like page 40, which would be about a little over one issue's worth. So this werewolf, he keeps kicking Captain Britain's butt, man. Captain Britain just can't handle him. So once Captain Britain meets this other guy, you see he has this ring, and he noticed the werewolf had a ring. So we have this little cult where a lot of people that wear those rings are kind of like part of the supernatural. This was a fun story. I enjoyed it. This one was a little bit longer, and on this one you had Dracula. Look at him right here. I immediately said, "Hey, that's Dracula," but it turns out this guy's name is the Baron something. I can't find it right here in the word bubbles anywhere. But his name was Baron something. I don't know if that's Dracula's name in the comics. But I really like to see, look at this art. Without that gray, just black and white, it looks awesome right here. Really digging that panel. Look at this one over here too. Damn, look at that one. Vicious. That's exactly how you picture Dracula, man. So this is the beginning of the next issue. See, it says Raft of the Black Baron. Black Baron, that's his name. Black Baron. So he controls these gargoyles and he can kind of control other things. Like you see, he over here he makes this man of it's just the armor suit, and he makes it come to life with nobody in it. Give you an idea of his powers. Over here, see he changes into a bat. You see him change into a bat right here, and change into a bat right there. So yeah, he's a pretty cool character, a worthy adversary. Now here, this was funny to me. Look at when Captain Britain saves his girl, but Dracula already got his mitts on her, right? His ugly mitts. So he says, "Courtney, you hear me? What did that blasted vampire do to you?" And then over here in the next panel, she turns into like a mummy almost. And look at what he says. "What's happening? She's aging before my eyes. She's turning into a hideous old hag." Man, talk about age discrimination. Don't worry, guys. Our American heroes over here, Captain America would never say that about a elderly person. So yeah, he's still fighting the wolf right here. This was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. The second story was cool. The first story was pretty simplistic. I enjoyed the second story. Is you see the writers is just getting better, making the story longer and so forth, and adding a little more character to it. You kind of at least get to somewhat know the villain Dracula a little. Start rooting for him. I was like, yeah, he's badass. And the first story it was very simplistic by the numbers. The alien was very cookie cutter, if you will, your cartoon regular Saturday morning cartoon episode type thing. But the second story got a lot better. I'll be reading the rest. I can only imagine it keeps improving. So yeah, guys. Hopefully you like this video. You hit the subscribe button. Really helps out the channel. Help us grow. And hopefully if you liked it, you hit the like button. Other than that, I just like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to check out the video, and I'll check you out next time.